to the Gransberry Chronicles Weekly Pick'em. It's week 10. Shorty, you a 10, 10, 10. Okay, I can't sing, but guess what? It's week 10. It's time to get to the pick'em. Look, we know who's in last place, but in case this is your first time watching, I want to make sure I introduce our last place guy first. So on my left, I have my boy B Pat. Wave to him from last place, B Pat. And on my right, I have my boy D Jones. He's still holding first place. But you know, I'm the hostess that do the mostest. So I'm always in first place every week. Why? Because I'm the first place queen. I mean, that's the way it is. I mean, who gonna stop me? I got my pearls on. You know, I'm being extra as always with a little extra. Read all about it. I know y'all heard them Houston Texans got another win. It might have been against the same team, but guess what? It's in the W
Dub is a
column.
dub.
Dub is the dub. So, and always in beginning fashion, you know it's some games that we all want to get out the way. Nobody's really interested in hearing about. So, D Jones, can you get those games out the way?
For sure. All right, this week's get them out the way picks. We all agree on all of them. So we got Washington over Detroit. Green Bay will get the win over Jacksonville. Philly adds to their division lead with the victory over the Giants. Vegas will take care of Denver. Pittsburgh remains undefeated over Cincinnati. New Orleans keeps dancing after taking down San Fran. Minnesota makes up ground in their division with the win over Chicago on Monday night. All right, Gransberry, back on you.
Well, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing what we gonna pick. So, you know, we gonna start out with Tampa Bay in another division game. It's gonna be Tampa Bay versus the Carolina Panthers. So, tell me who you're picking, B Pat.
I am going to go with Tampa Bay having a bounce back game. I think they're going to rush a little bit more, hand it off to Jones a little bit more because that game on Sunday night was awful. It was
That
terrible.
wasn't a game, but go ahead.
No, it wasn't a game. It was a scrimmage. It was like the JV team against the varsity team. Uh, Christian McCaffrey's hurt again for Carolina. He's day to day, week to week. So I'm just gonna go with Tampa because I just don't see Brady having another game just like that.
He didn't even have a game. So, D Jones, tell me.
Yeah, I really wanted to take Carolina on this because, just those boys been playing pretty good. Even when Christian was hurt, they still been playing pretty good. So, but what led me was I just don't see Brady and those boys having 2 weeks like they did. That was, like you said, atrocious. That was hard to watch. The Saints still dancing right now, I think, in the locker room in Tampa Bay. So, yeah, we're going to go Tampa Bay bounce back this week.
I'm not really even going to say bounce back. I'm going to say that, Bridgewater not having that dependable run game for sure. We don't know. That's the only reason why right now with the edge, I'm leaning to Tampa Bay. I think what we saw against, New Orleans wasn't extreme, but I think it also has some normalcy in it. I just really don't think Tampa Bay has figured out how to be consistent. Now, we didn't expect that type of game, but they just haven't been consistent. So I'm not really too shocked by everything that went on other than it took so long to score. I almost wondered, like, wait, is this a game in New England? Like, is this a Belichick game where you're just not scoring at all? So I'm going to give it to Tampa Bay, but shout out to Q that had me change my pick last week. And I would have been rocking solo and winning, but I took a L. But that's okay. I'm going to live in that L, but that L is not for last place. That belongs to you still, Coach Pat. So we're going to move on to Houston.
Oh,
Houston is on the road this weekend. They headed to Cleveland. Fun fact about Cleveland. When I attended my first game in Cleveland, it was when we actually decided to start Case Keenum. Crazy. His family actually had to get flown in on some family member's jet to make it to that game. Crazy. So, he played, and then I think also by the time I went back, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was also Madeline played and got the start there too. So, fun things about Cleveland, There's nothing fun about Cleveland. Nobody likes Cleveland other than when LeBron was there. So I know you hate to hear me say that because this is football, but you think I'm going to miss an opportunity to bring up LeBron? Never.
Of course not.
You always got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And then, of course, up the road in Canton, you have the Football Hall of Fame, which I've actually been to. Very nice place. So that's the only reason why you want to go to a game in Cleveland when it's cold. So you can go up to Canton and then take a look into, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and see the dog pound up close. Otherwise, like, it's just like a spot you just say, oh, Cleveland? Okay, let's get out of here. So with all of that being said, I'm taking Houston, so I'm not even going to hold up y'all anymore. D. Jones, who you taking?
First of all, shout out to my brother-in-law, Jerry Caldwell from Cleveland, diehard Browns fan. I know he watches us sometime. Jerry, I want to ride with Cleveland, but I'm not. I'm going with Houston just because.
You do not want to ride with Cleveland, but go ahead.
I want to do it for him. But he already know. He wouldn't even take me serious if I would pick Cleveland right now. So I'm going with Deshaun Watson and whoever else shows up with it. What you say, Coach?
I'm going with Texans. Thank you, Cleveland, for giving us the opportunity to draft Deshaun Watson. The last time we played Cleveland, Baker Mayfield had a horrible first half, but came back in the second half and shot some slugs. But no, not this time. I'm going Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans.
Okay, well, we don't have to keep sticking to that any longer, but we're going to head on over to our next game, and it's actually not that exciting of a game, right? How could I say that about the NFC East? But I did. So we have the Eagles versus the Giants. Critical game, but I think Philly takes another game up on this worst of the worst division position. So, Coach Pat, you agree?
Philly. D. Jones, what you say?
That's all you got?
Yep. Philly.
Man, I tried to write some notes down in this game.
Why?
And,
Denver.
Same thing.
Yeah, I'm like Coach Philly. We'll go with Philly.
Yes. So anyway, we just giving respect to the NFC East. That's all we got for you. So we moving on to Buffalo versus Arizona. I actually think this will be a pretty good game. Kyler and them, I think they're grooving. He's still the top rusher and passer on the team. So that's a little troublesome. We always say be careful about that, but fun fact about that is that's who he was in high school. So he's probably really comfortable. He's not doing anything that he's unfamiliar with. I mean, that's how he kept winning state championships against my cousin. He always put him out the playoffs, but I'm over it a little bit. Not really.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. But in true form and fashion, I'm actually going to ride with Buffalo. Coach.
I'm going with Arizona on this one. They're at home, and D-Hop is pissed, or upset about he didn't three catches, 30 yards. Kyler Murray's going to target him a little bit more. Buffalo is going to be riding high off of Josh Allen's 415-yard performance against Seahawks. I don't see Josh Allen doing that again. I'm going to go ahead and go with Arizona on this one.
Arizona's safe pick if you ask me. But I'm not going to keep it safe this week. I'm going with Buffalo. I like what they showed last week. I like Buffalo's defense going against the top offense on the road. We saw last week that Arizona will let people come in and basically take their home field advantage away. I expect this to be kind of a similar game to what they got against Miami. But I think Buffalo's defense is going to be the difference here.
And that is exactly why. So, B, we'll let you stay solo so you can stay in the back. And, Coach Truck, you say we wrong. But guess what? We don't care. But moving on to our next game, because there's a few in between. Let's talk about Seattle versus LA Rams. I really don't want to talk about it because y'all know how I feel about golf. But shout out to Melo, who still thinks that golf is a better quarterback, be a better quarterback than Watson. I'm having a shortage of brain power because that's not possible. They may end up with a better record, but I tell you who won't be a better QB. Not this year, not next year, not any year. Write it down, seal it up. Sir, you just got a QB. We got a star. You got a QB. So, in saying all that, I'm going with Seattle. Russell and them had a rough ride over to the east. And usually, if I stick with my mindset, when they go far east, they struggle, period. Inside, outside, cold, hot, they struggle. And I thought without fans, it would be kind of neutral, and they struggled. And so I think they bounce back this week, even though they're on the road in LA, and Seattle gets the win. D. Jones.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't know what you got against golf or what he did to you in a past life or what what happened, but yeah, that hate is real. But yeah, we're gonna go with Russ. You know how I feel about Russ.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I'm okay with Russ getting a loss here.
Yeah.
I mean, when he
it
lost
happens.
bad, he's not
Yeah.
gonna lose. He's not gonna consistently lose like
Yeah.
that with
Yeah.
with multiple interceptions. I mean,
Yeah, the pass rush he was seeing last week was just crazy. He ended up, coughing the ball up. We had two interceptions, one fumble. All ended up being costly. But his offensive line have got to do more for him to give him time to be him. But Buffalo had a good game plan for him. But I think Seattle rebounds and get the win this week. What you say, Coach?
I'm going with Seattle. I mean, no, Russ had 3 or 4 turnovers last week.
Yeah.
They didn't have a run game, so that kind of like Buffalo was just teeing it up. But Seattle, I don't see them losing 2 in a row. And the Rams, they got Jared Goff.
say it again. Say it again. Say it again. Say it again.
Mm.
Yeah.
They got
They got who?
Jared Goff.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Russell Wilson, Jared Goff.
Like he's not even in the view. Okay, let's move on to Sunday Night Football. It's
Goodness.
Baltimore versus New England. In a more perfect world, this was a perfect game to have on a Sunday night. New England's still struggling, trying to figure out what offense they want to run with Cam. And it's in fair form, like Cam said, he's owned his mistakes. He has cost them some games at the end, so they've been in games, but they fall apart at the end. He's almost like his own individual Atlanta Falcon. He just blows it. So even with that, I think Baltimore and all of their attempts to, make your boy Lamar more of a runner, I still think that they have enough to beat New England. New England just doesn't have enough offense. We don't know when they're going to get enough defense consistently. So I'm going to give this edge to Baltimore even on the road. D. Jones?
Yeah, I'm going Baltimore as well. I think if New England had their horses on defense, if they didn't have so many people that didn't play due to COVID, I think I may lean that way just because I think Belichick would be able to scheme for him. I still just don't think with their struggles, I think it's more lack of talent than it is anything else, especially on defense. Cam could put things on his back, but when they win, it's because of Cam too. So, but in this game, I'm riding with Lamar and Baltimore to shine. What you say, B?
I'm going solo on this one. I'm going with New England. Lamar Jackson's going around telling everybody that they know that teams are calling out the plays at the line of scrimmage and things like that. But they struggled against Indy until that interception that wasn't an interception last week, and that's what turned the game around for Baltimore. But New England, it's something about them that I just feel like they're gonna pull this one out at home.
That
It's
was an
something.
interception.
Something about them. So now you acting like how we was acting with the front office at Houston just because they New England. You just giving them credit. And D.
No,
Jones, yeah, whatever.
So if they had, Cam, he won't let them quit. Yeah, sometimes. At the end of the games, he might throw a fumble like he did against Buffalo. But then again, he comes back and gets them a chance to get a game-winning field goal. Yes,
Yeah.
against the Jets, but the problem is the Jets have a decent enough defense where you can at least give him credit for that. So that's what
I'm
I'm
not
just
giving
going
I'm
on
not
now.
giving out credit. I mean they got a win, they earned a win, but I'm not giving out credit. And then D Jones, in fairness, we at week 10. I really don't want to hear an add-on about, well, all of the players that opt out with COVID. The team they have right now in week 10,
Yeah.
that's the team that's been rocking, and that's just their team. I
No, I
mean,
agree.
it's we're not calling them a bad team. That's
No,
just their team. You know
I'm
what I
and
mean?
don't get me
So
wrong. I'm not saying they're going to win because of that. I'm saying if the reason why they're struggling on defense is because Belichick doesn't have the horses that he normally would have.
but
I
that's
don't
a
think that's the
wasted
only reason
point.
why they're well, it's wasted, but it's my point. You
Okay,
take
good.
it for what you want to take it for.
Trash
I just
point.
think it's not trash. It's not trash. Come on. If you telling me Belichick couldn't scheme for Lamar if he
I
had if he had the talent, if
usually
he
what
wasn't
do I
playing third
say?
string people on the defense,
Usually, what's my argument about Belichick? I will pick him as the coach to win a game over a team that's more talented.
that's all I'm
All I'm
saying.
saying is we could do the same thing. We could say our coach traded away everybody and didn't sign. Like every team could say something different about it. I was
But you
only
do.
saying right now, based on what they're doing, what they're putting on the field, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't even have to be mentioned about COVID. What they put on the field weekly right now is not enough to me to beat Baltimore, regardless of the
See,
reason.
I
But I
mean,
feel you. I know why you saying it. I'm just like, well, we're gonna say COVID. We gotta run COVID down every week for every team.
No, I'm
yeah,
just saying. But it's a point. It's a good point that New England is missing more players on their defense than anybody else.
no
Is that not
So
Chung,
right?
no
okay,
Chung, no Hightower. I mean, that's
Starters. We're not talking
the
about people
starters.
that's on the bench. We saying they're missing
okay,
more starters than anybody else, and not because they tested for 1 week. They didn't show up in the beginning. So what I'm
that's
saying
Yeah.
true.
is, so all
That's
I'm
true.
saying is, on a regular day, I might lean towards Belichick scheming for Lamar because of the limitations. Just like you mentioned, his limitations. They try to make him throw more, or they run him too much. Whichever way you want to say it, I think based on the way that they coach Lamar, Belichick would be able to scheme. He's going to try to scheme
Okay,
this week, but the scheme ain't going to work because he ain't got the dogs to run the scheme, is what I'm saying. And so I
okay,
think if he had those people, those starters that he normally would have, or at least the quality of those starters that he
right.
normally would have, then it would be a different game. I don't think this game's going to be close because he's not going to have those people. He's going to try. He's going to try, but it's not even going to happen.
And I agree, and Damon agrees with you as well. I agree. I
What
mean,
up,
because
D?
I would have just immediately picked Belichick. I wouldn't even said I'm picking the Patriots. I would have said I'm picking Belichick
That's my point. Yeah,
because
I would agree.
he will scheme in the beginning and figure out how to shut that down with Lamar. I mean, hell, Vrabel did too. Last year. So at that point, and the year before that, so did the Chargers. So it don't even take a rocket scientist to figure out what to do. But Belichick would be so smooth with it. You would just be like, okay. I still think even without being close, we've been having some weird Sunday night matchups. So it seems like we right back in that same pit hole. We could get a good game, but we're not really sure if we will. But we
Mhm.
all pretty much are consistent on, except, did you say you leaning against us, B Pat? You going solo?
No, I'm going solo. I said I'm going New
Yeah,
England this one because
Yeah,
yeah.
okay, okay.
simply
You taking chances?
I'm
Is this
going
a
New
field
England.
goal game?
And
What?
no, it ain't no field goal game. I mean, it's gonna
Oh,
be
okay.
a game worth, I mean, watching because I just feel like maybe New England sees there's a tunnel opportunity to try to get a playoff spot, and they have to win. These are the type of games they have to win in order to try to get that playoff spot. Do we trust Miami to get second place in that division? You don't know, So I mean, and if the fumble didn't happen against Buffalo, they had an opportunity to come back and win that game, and then you come back and win the Jets game with 3 seconds left on the clock. I mean, it's just a matter, like you said, they're still trying to figure out Cam, and I I just feel like Cam is just gonna figure out a way to beat beat Baltimore's defense this time around.
Yeah, so Q is joining us, guys, and he was the Tampa Bay fan that claimed that Tampa Bay was about to just put a beat down on Nola. I guess he meant in his dream that they were going to put a beat down because we weren't even sure they were going to put up a score.
Man, we
And
need
when
a
you
phone line. Q could call in.
if Q could call in,
Man,
You got some
man,
explaining to
look,
do.
and
man.
just know I tried to get Q on today because I needed some answers. I needed some answers into what was that madness. Had me all over social media looking like a fool,
Man.
changing my pick. Talking about, I'm with you. Man, I am never with you again. Do you hear me? I am not with you, Q. Okay? It's over.
That's your, that was your first
So
time changing your pick publicly.
it
Don't
don't matter.
go
It don't
publicly in
matter.
there.
First of all, my first time changing my pick was that KC Houston game, and I'm not gonna let you try to shame me. And privately, we have discussions, but I can't change my pick. So don't even come with me about that. So don't try me. I'm
Okay.
glad you. Yeah.
Okay.
You know what?
Okay.
Cause you got good lighting today. You trying to get on me now. You got that good lighting, and now you want to come for me. That's
Oh, man.
okay. That's okay. I'm gonna be extra. Don't you? I told you I got on my pearls. When I got on
Hey,
my pearls, you better be ready.
It
So
is what it
look,
is.
it is what it is.
we got to move on to our game of the week.
All right.
Interestingly enough, it's an AFC South matchup, our division. I hope both teams lose since the closest thing to that would be a tie. I would prefer that they would tie, but I don't really think that's going to happen. I do not know really consistently how the Colts are getting here. I think it's more of a schedule matchup and how things are falling, because just under no circumstances, whether he was in the AFC South or not, I just do not trust. I'm sorry, Rivers. I just don't. It's just like 1 week he got it together, and the 1 week he will hand you the game. His ending in LA was almost just that way. Like he was basically handing games away to the other team. So I want to see what does Tennessee look like with, they lost one of their linemen for the season. I'm not really sure about their backup and how strong that'll look. So that'll be interesting to see since we know Indy has a good defense. And so what are changes that will happen based on that? But yeah, I'm still going to ride with Tennessee. I'm not riding with Tennessee. I'm picking Tennessee. D. Jones?
Yeah. I think, Indy was doing their thing last year, and to add Phillip, I think people still have pretty decent respect for Phillip. And Indy's defense was okay, and their running game was okay, but their defense is hurting. Their defensive leader is hurt. Their run game is suspect. So I'm with you. I'm not sure how they keep ending up in these spots, but I think their luck is catching up with them. Tennessee has been struggling the last couple of weeks. They made some adjustments to go young. They let go of some of the vets, Beasley and J. Joe, and went with some of the youth on defense. I don't even think this game is going to be close, to be honest. So I'm riding with Tennessee on this. Coach, it's on you.
I'm going with Tennessee. Phillip Rivers threw the ball 43 times last week. Only got like 220 something yards. Then not to mention he fell down on that interception and got jumped over. So and then Tannehill was 10 for 21. Desmond King ran back the fumble return for Tennessee last week. I just feel like Tennessee is going to get the running game started over again. 68 yards and enough yards for Derrick Henry on this one. So I think he's going to get 150 plus on the rushing attack. Tennessee.
Tennessee. I still hate they going to win, but it is what it is. Look, all in all, I think that, somehow the NFL cohesively, players, owners, everybody involved, I can't believe we at week 10. That is a commendable job in itself for the NFL. I think, in the beginning we were giving them a hard time because we were like, man, what's going on? All these, positive tests when everybody watched baseball this summer almost be at risk for shutting down. So that's commendable for all of these guys and teams, even with the few spots of positive tests, that with all of the COVID tracing and the method that they're using, they're keeping the numbers low and able to keep this season on a roll. And I think at this point, we're all kind of comfortable now. We're not feeling so much of a quote unquote COVID effect. We're able to just go with the games and say, okay, this player's out, that player's out, and keep it going. And even with that, the Texans found a win with quite a few people on the COVID, list as well. So that was a good point to mention. I know it's against the Jags, but the point is, when you lose players in the middle of quote unquote your practice week or your off week, it's not the same with what you would normally prepare for. So, and able to get it together, and even during that game, they kept losing more players to the point where we've got to completely change the run game this week. So I just want to say that I think that that's commendable that they've made it to week 10 and we still have, a cohesive look at a season. I'm still disappointed that there are some stadiums we can't visit because obviously, yes, I am one of those people that would be in there with a mask, a robe, a net, whatever they say you need to put on. I would be one of those people that would do it. I mean, but I also would not be coming home making anyone sick. So that's probably why I would do it. To each his own. But I would wear the mask the whole game. So that's that. B. Pat, why don't you tell our guests that have joined us, who I want to thank again for watching the show and joining us, where they can find you on social media?
It's Coach P Pat on Instagram and Twitter, and Brandon Patterson on Facebook.
And in case you not sure, just always say, where is the guy in last place? And I'll tell you. His name is Coach B.
Wow,
Pat.
you got jokes on a daily basis. You got jokes. Wow.
No. I have factual things
Wow.
that are just funny.
That's true. It is
So,
true.
That's true.
D. Jones, tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me on IG at djones9804, on Twitter, that boy D Jones. Holla at your boy.
And of course, your girl, the Gransberry. I try to keep it simple and consistent. I am the Gransberry on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We've started broadcasting our show live on Twitter and on Facebook and YouTube, so you can have the option of watching us either way. And if you miss it, it'll still be there for you. You can also follow our podcast page at the Gransberry Chronicles, where we like to engage with you on that Monday after and tell us how you feeling. Are you riding high? You riding low? Are you feeling high? I don't know. We should ask B. No, we won't. But all in all, we'll catch you next time.